Hello, this is Matthew from Romanian City Profile. Today we will discuss Bucharest, Romania. Bucharest, Romania is the capital and most populated city of the southeastern European nation of Romania. Bucharest is the 8th most populated city in the European Union and has been called by some the Paris of the East. Bucharest is roughly 60 kilometers or 37 miles away from the Bulgarian border. Bucharest lies in the southern portion of the country, located on the fertile Romanian plains. The city is intersected by the Dâmbovița River, which later flows into the Danube River. There are also several man-made lakes in the northern section of Bucharest. Bucharest is divided into 6 sectors, with each having their own mayor and council. Sector 1 is by far the largest in area and occupies the northwestern corner of the city. Sector 3 is the most densely populated and contains many of the touristic zones such as the Old Town and the Bucharest Mall, the first mall in Romania. Sector 5 contains the well-known neighborhoods of Ferencváros and Rahova.
Bucharest was first mentioned in 1459 as a citadel. From then on, it served as a major commercial center for Wallachia. Bucharest was also home to Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula. Bucharest has a long history of occupation, being held by the Turks, Ottomans, and the Habsburgs, at varying points in its history. First, Bucharest served as the summer palace for the Kingdom of Wallachia. However, in 1698, Constantine Brâncoveanu made it the court's permanent location, instead of Târgoviște, another Wallachian city. In 1848, similar to other nations across Europe, there was a nationalist uprising against imperial Russian authorities. In 1862, Wallachia united with Moldavia, forming the Kingdom of Romania. During the second half of the 19th century, lots of urban development took place, to include horse-drawn trams, limited electrification, and damming, to prevent the previously rampant flooding of the Dâmbovița River under King Charles I of Romania. During the first part of World War I, Bucharest was occupied by the Germans, and the capital was moved to Moldavian city Iași. After World War I, Bucharest became the capital of Greater Romania, which now included Transylvania, and began to grow rapidly. After the war, the notable landmark Arcul de Triunf was constructed. For the first few years of World War II, Romania was an Axis power. However, in 1944, an uprising led them to align themselves with the Russians and their allies. After the war, communism was established and many Soviet apartment blocks were constructed. During communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu's reign from 1965 to 1989, many old historic areas were destroyed to make space for the civic center and the palace of the parliament. In 1989, the Ceausescu communist dictatorship ended, which began modernization in the city and restoration of the Old Town. In 2015, there was a fire at the Collective nightclub that killed 64 people, the worst fire in the nation's history. Today, Bucharest remains the largest and most influential city in Romania, for now and the foreseeable future. According to the European Crime Index, Bucharest is a safe city, ranking similar to Lisbon, Portugal. The most dangerous neighborhoods in Bucharest are located in the south of the city in Sector 5. These neighborhoods are called Rahova and Ferencváros. The capital of Bucharest is by far the largest city in Romania and contains approximately 8% of the country's population. It is also the third densest city with a population above 1 million in the EU, behind Barcelona and Paris. The population of the capital was booming in the latter half of the 20th century, but has since been declining due to low natural increase and emigration to Western Europe. The population of the city is very homogeneous, with roughly 97% being of Romanian heritage. Most of the population identifies as Roman Orthodox, although church attendance remains low. Bucharest has the 35th largest GDP of cities in the European Union, ranking near Naples, Italy, and Valencia, Spain. Bucharest contains 21% of Romania's GDP and approximately a quarter of its industrial output. The Bucharest Metro is the largest and most extensive in Romania. The Metro transports on a weekday about 800,000 people. The Metro has 5 lines, with a 6th line in construction. The Metro uses 3 different types of rolling stock, called Astra IVA, Bombardier Movia 346, and the CAF company. The M1 Metro line is the oldest in the city and has the most stations at 22. It does a ring through the center portion of the city and terminates in the eastern part of the city. The M2 line goes through the city north to south, with the northern portion being constructed first and then the southern portion. This line currently suffers from severe overcrowding. An extension is being constructed at the southern portion of the line and will include a park and ride for commuters. The M3 line is the east to west line for the city. It shares 7 stations with the first Metro line. The M4 line serves the northwestern corner of the city until the North Railway Station, which is the principal railway station for Bucharest, with many international and domestic connections. The M5 line is the most recent addition to the system, connecting the dense southwestern neighborhood of Drumul-Tabere, known for its Soviet urban planning. The line currently serves until where Line 1 and 3 meet, but is currently being extended until Line 2 and to reach all the way to Pantilemon, the station at the end of Line 1. As of now, the M6 line is being constructed to connect the airport and the North Railway Station. Currently, there is a trolley bus and a train connection, but the Metro line will make this trip even easier. The project is projected to be finished around 2030 and is receiving funding from Japan. In addition to 5, almost 6, Metro lines, there is an extensive network of trams, trolleybuses, and regular buses in Bucharest. The surface transport of Bucharest is run by the Society of Bucharest Transport, which fills many of the gaps where the Metro doesn't go. The company runs 16 trolleybus routes, 138 regular bus routes, and 23 light rail lines throughout the city. It receives even more ridership than the Metro, with over 1 million passengers in a week. The CFR, or Căile Ferate Române, is the national rail provider for Romania, with extensive coverage throughout the country. The Bucharest station serves many Romanian cities on direct lines and even has trains to international destinations such as Istanbul, Vienna, and St. Petersburg, ironically, its former occupiers. The most notable landmark in Bucharest is the Palace of the Parliament, located on the Boulevard Unirii. The world's heaviest building is a massive structure built by Ceausescu, which also houses the National Museum of Contemporary Art. The Arcul de Triomphe is modeled after the Paris Arc de Triomphe and is located in the north of the city. The Domnița Bălașa Church, the historic Romanian Orthodox Church, is dedicated to Constantin Brâncoveanu. The Romanian Athenaeum opened in 1888, a beautifully decorated concert hall, and is considered the most prestigious in the country. Stavropeleos Monastery, a Romanian Orthodox monastery constructed in 1724. Piața Unirii, piața means plaza in English, and is in the exact center of the city, where sectors 1, 2, 3, and 4 converge. Located in the middle of Boulevard Unirii, the grandest boulevard in the city. And finally, the Terme Erding, located north of the airport and is the largest thermal bath complex in all of Europe. Bucharest provides a large variety of attractions for tourists. For museums, the main ones are the National Museum of Art of Romania, the largest art museum in the country, Grigore Antipa Natural History Museum, the National Museum of the Village, which displays traditional village construction from each region of the country, the George Enescu National Museum, dedicated to one of Romania's most famous musicians, the Cotroceni National Museum, a Baroque palace, now turned museum, full of history and beautiful rooms. This museum is also home to the President of Romania. Ceausescu's mansion, also known as the Spring Palace, is the lavish former residence of Romanian communist dictator, located in the northern part of the city. Romanian Peasant Museum demonstrates the rich folklore and traditions of the Romanian people. Bucharest is a city with many interesting parks to explore, such as the Parcul Regele Mihai I and the Parcul Bordei, in the north of the city, right next to the Arcul de Triomphe. Parcul Carol I is named after pre-World War I king of Romania, and is south of the main square, and it includes a mausoleum, fountains, and a castle. One of the most famous parks, constructed in 1847, is the Cismigiu Gardens. In the center of the city, the park lies next to the Dâmbovița River and contains inside of it an artificial lake, with many flower fields and quaint bridges to beautify the park.